Hello everyone. Happy Thursday, everyone. My name is Amit Jotwani, and I am an Alexa evangelist, and I'm really excited to bring to you what we call the monthly What's New in Alexa Skills Kit, edition May 2019. So before I go further, if someone could give me a sound check if the sound and audio quality is okay. Excellent, excellent. Thanks, Leo. Okay, so let me give you a quick rundown of what we will do today. So what we typically do, I think we started doing this a couple of months ago, and the idea was that we are obviously releasing a bunch of new things and trying to make things easier and faster for developers to build skills for Alexa. And in all of this, you may have missed out on some of the new and exciting and cool things that we've been announcing. So the idea here is that I'm going to run over a few things that we've announced in the last month or so, and give you a glimpse of what these things do and what are some of the things that you can actually try out to reach out to newer customers, to improve engagement, to build your skills quickly. And then we also have some new devices that have been announced. So I'm going to run through some of those. I'm going to try to keep track of the chat on Twitch, but I think we probably have someone from our team monitoring that as well. Let me see if I can find that chat window over here. Okay, so I'll try to keep track of the questions. But while I run through these, if you have any questions, please feel free to type them here, and I will keep coming back to this. All right, welcome everyone for everyone's who's just joined. I'm going to run through some of the new things that we've announced on the Alexa Skills Kit. So I have like two windows open. On the left is the things that I'm going to run off of. But before I get to that, I wanted everyone to know that there's a web page that we actually maintain. And this is for the release updates. This is for everything that we've announced, all the features, all the tools, and what locations, what locales they're available in, and also the link off to the tech talks and the announcement blog posts, and also some tutorials that we have for that specific feature that's been announced. So if you would like to bookmark that URL is going to be right here. I'm going to type this in the chat window here. This is alexa.design/parity. So if you click on that, that's going to bring you to this page on the right side, which says release update. And as you can see, it's a long list of everything that we've announced. And I'm going to run through some of these top 4 or 5 things today. So without further ado, the first one I wanted to get into is that Alexa Skills Kit is now available in Spanish, and that's a new language model is available now. It's EN-US, and now you can publish this using this new voice model for customers who've been looking forward to all these Alexa skills in Spanish language. The support has been added in the US. So let me see if I can show you. So here's the announcement blog. I'm going to link to this in the chat, and then we will jump into how you can actually build skills using that. So I'm going to jump into my developer console. Let's get out of this skill I had been working on. So here's my developer console. I'm going to go full screen on this so it's a better view for everyone. And first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new skill and show you how you can actually use a new model. And then I'm going to go to an existing skill and add a language model, add the English or the US English or US Spanish model to it. So I'm going to click on create a skill. And as you can see, the model's here. I'm going to click on this. And if I scroll down, did I lose it? Did I lose it? I'm obviously losing it. There it is. Okay, it's the last one here. I'm going to choose Spanish US, and at this point you can name it whatever. And click on custom. I'm going to use Alexa hosted, and I'm going to create the skill. And while this is happening, I'm going to open another console and do the same thing for an existing skill. Okay, so I have this new premium hello world. I'm just going to go in there. Or let's try to do this. Yeah, let's do this for the premium hello world. I'm going to click on edit, and I am going to go into, I'm going to click on this drop down so for now, this skill is available only in English US. I'm going to go into language settings, and then I can add a new language. And as you can see, Spanish US is available, and I can add as many languages here as I want. And then you would save, and then you would obviously go in and update the code. So that part you still have to do. What's going to happen in the back end is that it's going to give you the locale, which will be ENES is the new locale that will be available. Let me just make sure I'm getting this right. So let's go back here. There is a blog post that my fellow evangelist Herman has written. I'm going to link that here if you've been looking to do that. So I'm going to scroll all the way down where Herman mentions that there is a new EN dash. Okay, so this is the new one, that new model that's available. So if you're doing any kind of locale check, you would basically, so in this case, he's using I18 next service to identify the locales, and then he has an array with all the language strings available. And then if you're doing something similar for your skill, you would just go and check the locale. And if you're looking for some code to do that, this is obviously a good blog post to do that. But then there is also a node fact skill that is available. I don't think it has been updated for the Spanish model, but it's a good start if you want to play around with it. I think I had a link on here somewhere. There it is. So let's look at the code for this one. If you go into Lambda and then index.js, you will see that there's the data containing all the strings for different languages. What you would essentially do in this case, for example, is you would create a new array with specific strings in whatever you want for that specific model. And then you would use the I18 next module to figure out the locale, and then you would parse that and then get the data from here. So I'm going to link to this as well. And again, like I said, the previous blog post that I mentioned, that's a really good start if you are trying to add this new model to your skill. There you go. Okay. Sorry, I'm going to just go in and read any questions you may have. Is the language set on base Alexa device? So the same skill can have both locale, but only return based on the language of the device base language. I'm not sure I understand the question here, Will's design. Sorry, I'm going to read this again. Is the language set on base Alexa device? I believe so. So it would depend on. So the skill can have both local, but only return. So the way the language settings or the way I18 next works is that it's actually getting the location that the user has set for the device. Yes, so the device has been set to that language. It's going to pull that as your model. Yeah, hopefully I answered that question. Okay, cool. All right, so that is number one, which is that you can now build Alexa skills to include Spanish language in the US. And I've linked off to some of the blog posts and some of the examples that you can actually start off with. Okay, the second thing I wanted to cover is that one of the things that developers ask a lot about is how can I actually speed up the process of skill building. So we've been making behind the scenes changes, and one of the things that hopefully you will see speed up your builds is the amount of time it actually takes to build the skill. So when you actually click on build model, either on the console or if you're using the Asc CLI, it takes a little while for the model to build. So we've been doing some cleanup and polishing in the backend, and apparently the number is that it is 67% quicker than before. So I'll leave the number analysis to you guys to tell us how that is helping you. But the whole idea is that when you are building the model and you click on build model, it makes the model immediately available for you, so you can still continue to test it, while some things would not be available. And I think one of those things is fallback intent, and the dialog model is not available. But if you're just trying to see check out the utterances, or you just want to do some quick check without waiting for the model to be completely built, it's actually built in phases. So I think we call it like quick build. So there will be a quick build model available, and then you can start playing around with it. And then finally, when the complete model is available, all of the functionality will be available to you. So let's look at this doc here. So here's the quick build, and there is a full build. The quick build is done in just a few seconds, and like I said, the dialog model is not available while it's doing that, and the fallback intent is not available. But that's about it. Like everything else is available to you, and you can start playing around with it. And when the full build is available, that's when the skill is completely ready to be tested in all its glory. So let me link to this as well. And this is for SMAPI quick builds. There we go. And again, all of this is available on Elixir.design /parody as well. I'm going to link out to some links that are not available there, but the blog posts and the tech talks, you can all refer to it from that link as well. Okay, let me go back to my list. So that was number 2. The SMAPI granular model builds makes it quicker, quicker building, and hopefully that will help you guys get to skill building even faster. Okay, number 3 is you can now simulate a multi-turn conversation with the Asc CLI. Now that was not available in the Asc CLI earlier. You can now do complete simulation using the ASK dialog command, and let's look at that. So if you're not familiar, ASK CLI is a way that you can actually build skills by completely using the command line interface. If you can create the skill on the UI, you can clone it using ASK clone, and then now that skill is completely available on the CLI, and then you can make all the changes locally and then upload it to either, if you're using AWS Lambda, you can even connect your AWS accounts, and the Lambda function will be updated. But with ASK dialog specifically, you can now simulate the skill. So if you have a longish dialog that you're maintaining in your skill, and you just want to play around with it, you can actually do that in the command line without actually going into the developer console and typing it in the developer console. Now, since this is available through the command line interface, you can obviously use it to automate your testing process also. So it's available in SMAPI and CLI, and hopefully that will help you guys make your skills faster and also automate the testing process, since it's available through the SMAPI and the ASK CLI. So let me link to that here as well. Oops. And go back into, okay. One of the things that if you use Visual Studio Code is that you should check out the ASK plugin for that. That's a really useful plugin, and the ASK dialog is also available in this through this plugin as well. So I'm going to link to this as well. All right. Let me see if there are any questions that I may have missed. Tarun, I'm not sure what you mean. It's not compatible with CI/CD. Can you elaborate on that a little bit, please? Okay. While I wait, let's just move on and go to the next one, which is smart home camera person detection. So this is if you're a smart home device maker or if you're a gadget maker and your device has a camera. Now you can use the Alexa.event detection sensor interface, which is available through the Smart Home Skill API. And what that does is that whenever your smart home camera detects a person, you can actually send that off to Alexa. And then if a customer asks, like, what was the last person that was seen on the camera, Alexa can actually answer questions like that. So this is something that you would have to implement on your end. And once that is implemented, Alexa can actually tap into that and provide that additional feature to your customer. So this is available only in the US as of now. And I'm going to link off to the tech docs over here. Smart home camera. Just copy this over here. All right. And sorry, just go back and see if there are any questions. Okay, we're good. And then the final update that I wanted to share is that we have a new device that was announced yesterday, and that is the Echo Show 5. So let me first actually pull it up on Amazon.com so you can see. So this is the new device. It's available in 2 colors. It's available for pre-order right now. But what's really interesting from your point of view, from a developer point of view, is that, sorry, let's pull this up. Okay, what's really cool from your point of view is that you can actually, if you're using APL, you can start building for this new device. And what it does is it provides a new profile. And I believe it's called Hub Landscape. There it is. So the new profile that will be available is Hub Landscape Small. So you can make those minor changes, and even if you don't make the changes, it's still going to work. But if you want to use the new interface or the new size of the device that's available, you should make sure that your skill is capable to handle the Hub Landscape Small through APL. And I believe the new, or the one of the skills that is updated for that is the Sauce Boss skill. So if you're trying to learn more about the new device capabilities, you should look into this skill. For APL. Okay, I'm gonna come back and read the comments. I just want to get through this. Okay, so this is a skill that has already been updated for this new device. It includes the new profile. So if you want to play around with it, you can actually start playing around with on this skill. And then finally, and like I said, it's available for pre-order right now. And I'm going to link off to this announcement blog post that Franklin Lobb, our fellow evangelist / solutions architect, has written. And that links off to really important links that you might find useful. There's some updates to the APL authoring tool. All in all, we're trying to make this like even easier and faster for you to build for a screen device. And I'm going to link that off here. Okay. I'm gonna go up and read the comments real quick. Tharun, that's an interesting question. I am not sure I know the answer to that. Would you mind messaging me or DMing me on Twitter, and I'll try to find an answer for you on that. And if I do, I'm going to tweet that out also so other people can benefit. You can reach me on Twitter at Amit. And then any time frame on when ASK CLI will be supporting Node.js v10? That is a great question. I'm not sure of that, to be honest. But let me see if I can find some answer on that. I don't know. It's the simple answer. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll see if I can find some information on that. But I'm sorry, I don't know anything off the top of my head. So I'm going to note that down on my friendly markdown. Okay. Does screen devices allow for website hyperlinks? Like the screen can display a link, and when tapped, it loads it like a browser on the screen. Unfortunately, it does not, Solid Snake. The only way that you can send some information is, and even then it would not be a link, is that you can send some text onto the Alexa app. Yeah, but you can't show website hyperlinks on screen. I can totally see the use case for that, but no. Hey, can you share the doc you're referring to? I don't know if it's just me, but video quality is really bad and there are so many ads disrupting the video. Absolutely. I'm going to put it on my GitHub right after this, and I'm going to tweet it out. So if you want to follow me or just keep track of what I'm tweeting for the next hour or so, I will be sure to tweet that out. Let me note that down as a to-do. Okay, will do. Okay, yeah, thanks, Leo. Okay, Leo is going to put all of this up in a blog with all the info, and I think it's going to have this video embedded into that. Cool. Yeah, Solid Snake, I'm just reading your question again. The answer is no, you cannot include hyperlinks. Even in the Alexa app, it would not be a link. You can include it, but it's going to show up as text. So you can send that, but it's not going to be clickable, if that makes sense. Okay. All right, I'm just going to go run through this one more time, see if there are any more questions. And while I do that, I'm going to keep that doc over here since it looks like the video quality may not be that great. So again, 5 things, and let's pull up this chat window while I'm doing that. Okay, so I'm going to run through these 5 things as I wait for questions. And the questions could be for any of this. If you're running into any other issue, I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. And while I wait for them, I'm just going to run through these real quick. Number 1 is that you can now, Alexa Skills Kit has expanded to include Spanish in the US language model. You can do that by going into the language settings. For if it's an existing skill, you can do that by going into the language settings and adding the language. If it's a new skill, you can include or you can add USES in your language model to start off with, and then again you can go into language settings and add other languages as you go through. There is a fact skill example that's available that's on our GitHub page. You can look at that to see how the locale detection is being done and how you can actually have different responses depending on the locale the user is actually requesting the skill from. You can we've done some behind the scenes updates that should hopefully make your build process quicker. And you should try that out and let us know how that is going for you. You can also now simulate a multi-turn conversation. So this is really important if you've been using Asx CLI, and it can really get annoying if you've been jumping around back and forth between the console and Asx CLI because the CLI did not support multi-turn simulation. You can now do that using the ASK dialog command. This functionality is available from within the VS Code plugin, ASK plugin that's available for VS Code. And if you're a smart home device maker or a gadget maker, you can now do camera person detection and then provide that information back to Alexa using the Alexa event detection sensor interface. And then at that point, the users can actually come back and ask who was the last person, or when was the last person the camera saw. And then finally, you should start looking into optimizing your Alexa skill experience for the new Echo Show 5. And that is available for pre-order. The code sample that you can look into is there's a skill called Sauce Boss that's available on the Alexa GitHub. And then the announcement blog post, I've already linked to it. Can you point to docs on how to initiate quick build from Asx CLI? Yeah, let me see if I can find that for you. 1 second. So let's minimize that and go into tech docs. I believe there was a link on the parity page. Let's go there. Okay, so here's the link for how you can actually save and build the model. So this is not something that you would actually, so let me be clear about this. This is not something that you would have to do manually. It's just something that happens in the background. So even if you're doing it in the console, or if you're doing it from the Asx CLI, or using SMAPI, this is just something that happens in the background. And you should be able to see the difference. But if you are trying to find out the status of your skill using the CLI, I'm gonna link to that. Okay. Is it possible to continue processing example to save some session or user data after sending Alexa's response to the user? Yes, there is. And what you're really looking for is persistence. And let me see if I can find some. In fact, what you can do is you can look into this new course that we have announced. So if I should probably do a proper plugin for this. So this is a really cool a new course that we have announced. It's called Cakewalk. And what it does is it walks you through the entire skill building process. If you've never built a skill before, or if you're trying to learn some new things, it walks you through step by step into these different things. And one of those things is how you can add memory to your skill. So I'm going to link to this. I think this would probably be a really good place for you to start off to understand how you can actually remember things after you've sent the response back to the user. You still want to remember something. So it could be like the first time the skill opens, you ask the user for the name, and the next time the user comes, you want Alexa to remember the name. You can do that by saving that state. Essentially what you're doing is you're saving every bit of information that you've actually collected through slots or slots as customer input. You would save that into a JSON object, and then you're saving that JSON object in some kind of storage. If you look at this specific link that I just linked to, it is using an S3 bucket. And the reason you could use an S3 bucket, which is really a simple storage device provided by AWS, storage service provided by AWS. You could also use a database like DynamoDB, which is another service that's provided by AWS. What you use, it doesn't really matter. It really depends on what you're trying to do. The reason this specific course uses S3 is because it's based on Alexa hosted, which is that you don't need to set up a separate Lambda function. So if you're creating a skill, you need some backend code. With Alexa hosted skill, that code is just built into the developer console. But the only limitation it has is that it does not have support for DynamoDB. It does have support for S3. So if you run through this skill, hopefully that will give you an idea of how you can actually save things. And then you can switch that for DynamoDB once you move the code to, say, a Lambda function or any other backend service that you're using for your code. Michael Bender, the cool kids use DynamoDB. Okay, I'm not gonna comment on that. I don't want to start a flame war here. Yeah, I mean, once you have that kind of scale, once you have that kind of data that you want to store, DynamoDB is probably a better choice rather than an S3 bucket. But if you're starting off, S3 bucket is just it's gonna do just fine, and it'll give you an idea of how you can actually store things, and then you can switch over to DynamoDB like Michael Bender wants you to. Okay. I'm gonna scroll up. I think I missed out a few questions over here. Will the new show device with size landscape small be added to the developer console soon? Yes, it will be added. If it hasn't already been, I'm not sure. Let's go back and read the blog post. Sorry, this was just announced yesterday, so I have not had a chance to look much into it. But let's go and look at that. So I'm gonna pull up my friendly doc here. Let's go to the announcement blog. In addition to supporting the new viewport profile, yep, so there it is. In addition to supporting the new viewport profile and the authoring tool, there are some additional improvements as well. So let's go to the authoring tool. Oops, I did not want to do that. So let's see, I want to do this. Okay, so nope. Yep, I think I lost that link again. Okay, here we go. So what's going to be added is hub landscape small. And I don't see that just yet. So it looks like it's not added just yet. Yeah. Yeah, so this is a custom one. But yeah, I think this should be added here. So again, the device is not shipped out yet. So I don't see that just yet. Oops. Solid Snake, is there any existing plans to make a GUI tool for the Alexa presentation language to make the layout in a WYSIWYG form? That's a really good idea, Solid Snake. While I cannot share the plans, what I would suggest is I would encourage you to go to alexa.uservoice and upvote that. I think that may already be there, to be honest. but you should look at that. And if it's and not just for this one, if there's any specific feature that you've been looking for, this is the place that we look at, our product team looks at, and this is a great way for you all to give us feedback on things that you want us to do, things that are working out for you, and other suggestions like you just made. So this is a really good place to do that. I'm going to link that on over here. How does the let's get this first. Can you point to the docs on how to initiate quick build? Okay, I think I got that. When exactly the Echo Show 5 compact would be available commercially? Okay, that's a really good question. Again, like I said, it was announced yesterday, so I'm not sure, but let's actually go to the Amazon page and see when it's available. I have so many windows open at this point. This is getting a little out of hand. Okay, let's come back here. Okay, it says this item will be released on June 26th. So that's what it is. June 26th is when Echo Show 5 would be available. Next is, how does the Spanish in US model ES-US differ from other Spanish language models? Does it include support for the usual Spanglish mixed language? Let's open up the blog post for that. Okay. I'm not sure of that. I believe it is. Yeah, I don't want to say. Yeah, I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's see if I can find that answer for you. Okay. I'm gonna go look at the how-to blog post. I want to go and look at the language strings that are being used for this. I believe it's going to be Spanish. Yeah, it's Spanish. I don't think it's I think it's targeted for people, for Spanish speaking people in the US. It's not going to be a mix of language, but let me confirm that. Yeah. Okay. We have. Let me see if there's any more questions here. Okay, guys. Will it be $89.99 even in, I don't know, what do you mean by that? Did you mean other countries? Again, this is, I believe this is US only for now, so I'm not sure of that answer just yet, if you meant in different countries. Yeah, so this is US only for now. So I apologize. I would not know the answer for that. But hopefully we'll launch in more countries soon. All right, I'm just gonna give like a couple minutes here if you guys have more questions, and then we can maybe give you a 15-minute time refund to enjoy your Thursday afternoon / evening / morning, wherever you might be. All right, I'm gonna link or open this page again, and then open the Parity page again. All right, guys. I see that no more questions are coming. Okay. Any more questions around Alexa Skills Kit? Any questions around the new features that we've announced? Yes, Gene. The links will be available. So what we're going to do is, I think Leo on our team mentioned that we will be doing a blog post, which will essentially be a recap of everything that we've announced and everything that we included today in this webinar. But what I can also do is I can once that goes out, I will also be putting this up on my GitHub. So if you want to look at my Twitter, I can tweet this out if that is of any help. But we will be doing a blog post that will be rolling out pretty soon. So if you missed out on this, all of the links that I covered today will be available. Cool. All right, guys. Last call for questions. Great. Cool. Thank you, guys. This has been a pleasure. I'm super excited to see what you guys do with these features. Yeah, CG I'm gonna confirm that. Again, if you want to follow me or message me on Twitter, I can revert back and confirm that to you. And I apologize. I should know that answer. I apologize. I think I know the answer, but I don't want to say that just unless I'm sure about it. So I'll confirm that if you don't mind pinging me. Great. Thank you again, guys. Thanks for your time. Thanks for all the hard work that you guys are doing on building amazing experiences for our customers. And hopefully I will see you guys soon. I am really excited. I'm going to Remars. So hopefully I'll see some of you at Remars. If not, I will hope to see some of you pretty soon in some voice conference or some other meetup or other community events. Anyway, my name is Amit Jotwani. You can follow me on Twitter at AMIT. And I look forward to seeing you guys soon. All right. Have a great one. Cheers, guys. Bye.